Blue Jays fans, and welcome to another edition of Jays Latest. I'm your host, Craig Borden, and today we got all kinds of rumors that we're going to talk about for the Blue Jays, along with the fact that we are crushing it in the American League East. So let's just dive into it and step up to the plate. Blue Jays, multiple reports have been leaking the fact that the Blue Jays have been super aggressive so far, trying to get some talent for this young team and push this thing over to the top. Doesn't exactly say in those reports who they're being aggressive with, but it has been multiple sports analysts like Jeff Passan and so on and so forth that is saying that the Blue Jays are in on everything and have been checking in for mostly pitching, which makes sense because the outfield is starting to get a little thick and the infield has got enough help that I think that everything's been clicking. But that doesn't mean they won't trade one of those players to get an asset, and they're going to get Dalton Varsho back here in the near future. It's going to be things like that. So who could they be aggressive with? So right now, the other rumors are that are floating around is that the Cleveland Guardians actually might potentially sell off some of their talent. If that's a true fact, the Guardians got some really good names, but the thing is that you're going to have to pay the king's ransom for them would be the catch. But to that point, could they help the Toronto Blue Jays? Of course they can. And I look no shorter than Emmanuel Clase being the one that the Blue Jays should be heavily looking after. Just signed a big deal right before last year during arbitration. So he's got a couple more years of control. And it was a 5-year, $20 million deal that he's signed, but he's obviously a few years into that. He would be a Blue Jay if he got traded for another 3 seasons. So 2028 would be the final baseball season at Emmanuel Clase if that was somehow pulled off. Keyword somehow. The 3-time All-Star and the 2-time Mariano Rivera Closer of the Year award. Is still having a great season for the Guardians, regardless of the fact that they haven't been exactly where they want to be. Currently with a 2.86 ERA in 44 innings and has 21 saves. So, yeah, doing pretty good. He's also led the majors, by the way, or led the American League 3 years in a row up into this season in saves. So, just saying. But to that point, it's nice to hear that the Blue Jays are shopping and they're trying to find these pieces to bring into the team and being aggressive about it, because we were all worried that they were just going to sit idly by and hope that, hey, these are our guys. They're going to help us win. So on that note, let's just hope they're going to keep moving and we're going to go from there. But the Toronto Blue Jays seem to be in on it. So let's talk about the game yesterday, because this one was a fun one. Robbie Ray makes his first appearance in the Rogers Center since obviously winning his Cy Young Award a few years ago. It will be great to see him doing what Robbie Ray does, but the Blue Jays offense got to him pretty damn good, tagging him up for 5 earned runs in his 4 1/3, chase him in the 5th. 2 home runs off of him as well. So it was very cool to see that as good as Robbie Ray has been pitching this year, the Blue Jays also got to him, and not to mention got to him, but got to a very talented lefty, which is something they usually have some issues with. So how did they beat him up? Like I said, they got the home run ball working really, really early after Heliot Ramos got the Giants out to an early lead in the first inning, scoring Yun-Ho Lee. Vladdy just sees that as like a challenge and tees one up. He just blasted this thing to dead center field. His 13th home run of the season, a solo shot. Gets to wear the home run jacket. Then, moving on to the third, Bo Bichette comes on with a couple guys up. And as after Vladdy walked, Ernie Clement and Vladdy score on the double down the left field line. It was a line drive that Heliot Ramos had basically right at him, and he clearly misjudged this ball. Came running in too hard. The ball completely stayed up. Had to do to try catching it, and it was just not going to happen. It was over his head and gone at that point. So at that point, 2-run score for the Blue Jays put them up 3-1. Some chipping back by the Giants keep things moving in a very, very close game. And then George Springer hits a chip shot for the tallest home run I've seen this year. It goes about just over the left field wall, but at the end of the day, it is his 17th home run, puts the Blue Jays up 4-2. Alejandro Kirk comes up right after Bo Bichette had gotten on, drives in Bo Bichette on a single, once again on a second strike. He had a full count on him. And then Addison Barger just thought this thing apparently was still too close and just destroys a pitch. 14th of the season over the right field wall. I made it into the 200 level seats. Kirky scores, Blue Jays up 7-2. And then this is when the Giants start creeping back into this game. Matt Chapman gets a home run. I always say gives up. Opposite field, barely makes it over the fence. Brett Wisely hits a single, scores Dom Smith, and then so on and so forth and whatnot. Going to the sixth, the Blue Jays needed that extra run, and this is where everything got held down at the final score. But Vladdy singles in George Springer. So very cool to see them offense clicking and everything. And the bullpen held true last night after Jose Barrios gave up 4 earned runs on 8 hits in 5 2/3. Not a bad start, but not a great one either. Keeps his ERA at 3.87. Fisher comes in, gives up those 2 runs, but then afterwards, Blue Jays bullpen held it down. Bruley, Nance, and then Yariel Rodriguez keep the game where it was, and Yariel Rodriguez actually picking up his 2nd save of the season. So, excuse me, great to see. So, next things next. That was actually our 10th home field win recently. So, 10 games at home in a row the Blue Jays have won. So this is becoming the dome field advantage that it once was. Sky Dome is thumping. Blue Jays fans are going crazy, having a great time. And obviously the Blue Jays themselves are just loving every minute of it because they're obviously right in every one of these games. It's very great to see, and things keep moving in the right direction. The Blue Jays have also, this month, let me get the number in front of me because it was kind of crazy when I saw it. I think it was like we were 22-6 or something like that in the recent. Oh, I lost that stat. Sorry, guys. But yes, the Blue Jays are just completely annihilating their competition at home and doing great things. They are currently for the season 35-16. So that's the one number I do have in front of me. So on that note, let's talk what's coming, because the New York Yankees are on their way to Toronto to have a rematch in Toronto once again for what was their sweep the last time they happened to be in town. The Yankees still struggling, trying to find things to put together. They have won 2 in a row and took 2 out of 3 against the Atlanta Braves over the weekend here. It is what it is, and we're going to keep moving in the right direction, hopefully, here. But the Blue Jays, I'm assuming, are going to be getting an onslaught from the Yankees, who are looking for revenge for us taking their first place spot. So it will be interesting to see. It's going to be a great game. We're going to have Carlos Rodon, the All-Star, versus Kevin Gausman on the mound tonight. Both of these teams have faced each other very, very often. Vlad Jr. is batting .600 against Carlos Rodon with a home run and 5 RBIs. George Springer also doing pretty damn well with 2 home runs and 6 RBIs against Carlos Rodon. So, and then we got to watch out for Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton, and Austin Wells, of all people, have had really good outings against Kevin Gausman. So those will be the ones to watch out for your matchups. Gausman has been fresh off of a couple of good starts, which he's not allowed more than 3 earned runs, only making it in 5 innings in those, though. Most recently, 3 starts ago, 2 runs against the Yankees. So there is that. I don't know if Rodon actually pitched in that series. Oh, yeah, he did 2 earned runs, but he has been very up and down over the last few starts. 2 against the Blue Jays. The New York Mets beat him up for 6 earned runs, and then last outing, 8 innings, no earned runs, only 4 hits against the Chicago Cubs. So which Carlos Rodon is going to show up tonight would be a good question for the Yankees. So that's what's going on. Get out to the Dome. Get that thing thumping tonight, everybody. Go Blue Jays, and we'll talk to you all soon. Go